Hello, welcome back to some more 1984 APBA baseball. Today, as you can see, I've got the Kansas City Royals to visit the Baltimore Orioles. When I was a kid, I always enjoyed those two teams playing each other because their names sounded the same. This is a special event for my channel, as this is the first ever game that I have put on the channel with a DH. So, not a big fan of the DH. Grew up in Cincinnati. I enjoy pitchers hitting and the strategy. So I have never, ever been a fan of the DH. I could tolerate it in the American League. But even though I don't follow baseball much anymore, I'm really hoping that they don't make it universal, but I'm sure it's coming. As you can see, we got the Royals in town to visit the Orioles. So I had a request to show some D pitchers, some D-graded pitchers, to see how they would perform. So on the mound for the Royals, we got Mark Gubicza, who is a D with a Y modifier. On the mound for the Orioles is Denny Martinez, who was a D pitcher this year as well with a Z modifier. So both bullpens are on alert for whatever might happen. So we will get started with the first ever DH game in Replay Gamer history. All right, so leading off for the Royals will be center fielder Willie Wilson. And here we go. He gets a 13. That's a 40. The Orioles come in as a 1. So 13, 40 on a 1 is going to be a foul ball. So he will get another crack at Denny Martinez. That's a 15, which is an 11. And a D pitcher, that's a single to left. Batter steals second on first pitch. So Willie Wilson flashing some speed. Starts off with a single and a stolen base. So that'll bring up Pat Sheridan playing right field for the Kansas City Royals. So we got a runner on second. One good thing about the DH is that I can show the pitchers because I don't need them to hit. So for what that's worth. So Sheridan will come to the plate with Willie Wilson on second base. That's a 31, which is a 9 on a D pitcher. That's a single through short. A slow runner is out. But Willie Wilson is a fast runner, so he will score from second. Still struggling with a cough, so bear with me if I have to stop and cough a couple times. So just like that, Kansas City is up 1-0. Interestingly enough, the American League was very interesting this year. The Royals won the American League West. However, the Orioles were 5th in the American League East and had a better record than the Royals. So the Royals was the only team in the American League West who had a winning record. And so even though the Baltimore Orioles had a one-game better record, they ended up 5th to the Kansas City Royals winning the division. So that was interesting. So anyway, we got a runner on first for George Brett. Got some good names in this game. That's a 36, which is a 14, and that's going to be 2 balls, as Martinez does have the Z modifier. So here's Brett again with a 21. That's a 30, and that's going to be a fly out to left field. Renicky out there will track it down for out number 1. Hal McRae, the first ever designated hitter in replay gamer history, steps to the plate. Pat Sheridan still on first. That's a 52, which is a 25 in the 1 column, and that's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. So how about that? So Sheridan out 4-6. Dower over to Cal Ripken. Over to Eddie Murray. And that will do it for the Royals in the first. 4-6-3 double play. So they get 1 run on 2 hits. No errors, nobody left on. So after half an inning, Kansas City 1, Baltimore coming to bat. So leading off for the Orioles will be John T-Bone Shelby. Never heard that name, but he's leading off for center field for the Orioles. That's a 41. We got a 24. The Royals are a 2. So 41, that's a 24 in the 2 column. And that's going to be a ground out to shortstop. So Onyx Concepcion. I don't know if he's related to Dave Concepcion or not, who we had in the last game. Will make the play for out number 1. Mike Young, playing right field, will hit next. A 61 is a 40. And that's going to be a foul ball. That's a 12, which is a 12 on 2. And that's going to be ground ball to third base. George Brett fires on to Balboni for out number 2. Cal Ripken Jr. will be up with 2 out, nobody on. Gets a 63. That's a 31. And that will be fly ball out to Willie Wilson in center field. And he will put it away to end the inning. So Mark Gubazar retires Baltimore in order in his first inning of work. So we will head to inning number 2. 1-0 Kansas City. Darryl Motley, playing left field for Kansas City today, will take the first crack at Martinez this inning. That's a 33, and that's going to be a 6. And that's going to be a double into right center. Shelby will track it down at the wall, fire it back in, but not before Motley is on with a double. Steve Balboni, first baseman, will be up next. So got a runner on second, nobody out. 61 is a 13, and that's going to be a strikeout. As I recall, Balboni was a lot like Dave Kingman, some power and struck out a lot. But again, I don't have the stats here, so I'm doing that for memory. So Frank White, second baseman, be up next. He gets a 51, which is a 9, and a D pitcher. That's going to be a single through short. The runner scores. A slow runner out at home, but Motley is an average. So the Kansas City Royals go up 2-0. RBI single for Frank White. And it's 2-0 Kansas City. Don Slott, catcher for today's festivities, is up next. That's a 13, which is a 36 in the 1 column. And that's going to be a wild pitch, so it gets away from Martinez and Dempsey. Frank White finds himself at second base with 1 out. Excuse me. So Slott's still up. Go to our runner on second chart. It's a 15, which is an 8. That's not good. So with a D rating, that's a single over second. The runner scores. A slow runner out at the plate. But Frank White is actually a fast runner. So it's 3-0 Kansas City. So they got the Kansas City bullpen, or the Baltimore bullpen, rather, up and warming up. So that'll bring Onyx Concepcion batting 9th today for the Royals. Got a runner on first. That's a 14, which is a 30 with the 1 column. And that's going to be a fly out to left field. Slot will hold it first. And there's 2 away. For the top of the order, Willie Wilson. He singled, stole a base, and scored to lead off the game. So Slot still at first base. That's a 22. That's going to be a 7. That's a single to right, runner to third. So Young fires it in, but not before Slot, who was going at the crack of the bat with 2 outs. Will be at third base, so the Royals have runners on the corners. For Pat Sheridan, who's already driven in 1 run. He gets a 33, so that's a 0, so that's going to be a re-roll, so that's going to be trouble. And that's a 22. That's not going to be good. That's a 1, and that's a home run over the left field fence. So 3-run bomb for Pat Sheridan. And that will probably be it for Denny Martinez. That's 4 RBIs for Pat Sheridan, who is not one of the more popular Kansas City Royals. So that'll be it for Martinez. So we'll see what we can get here as far as relief. Got Sammy Stewart, Tippy Martinez. He's a C. Let's give him a crack. See if a grade up will help. So that's Tippy Martinez comes in after Denny Martinez gets roughed up pretty good. And he is a C with an X. So let's see if the other Martinez can do any better. So again, George Brett, he flew out to left in his first at bat. Gets a 42, and that's a 39 in the 1 column. Runner on third. Oh, we are back to bases empty. That's one thing about this game. I forget every once in a while to remember to be in the right chart. So 42 is a 39, and that's actually going to be a strike. So George Brett gets another crack at it. 25 is an 8 on a C column, and that's going to be a single to left center. So with Hal McRae, the Royals have batted around. Hal McRae hitting to a double play to end the first. We got 2 out. George Brett on first base. That's a 53, which is a 17 in the 1 column. With a runner on first, that's going to be a single to right center, out at third. Batter to second on the throw. So how about that? That's an interesting play. So George Brett gets gunned down. Let's see, that was a 53-17. Right field to third base. So Michael Young guns him down at third. It's a 9-5 for out number 3. McRae ends up at second, but that'll be as far as he gets. So that'll do it for the Royals here in the second. However, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 7 hits. They leave 1 runner on. And after an inning and a half, it is 6-1 Kansas City. Or 6-0 rather, Kansas City. So see if the Orioles can do some catching up here. They got some big names in their lineup. Eddie Murray playing first base. Big switch hitting first baseman will be up next. He gets a 24, which is a 13 in the 2 column. That's going to be a strikeout. Gary Renicky, left fielder, will take his at bat. 24 is a 13, and he proceeds to strike out. So Mark Gubicza doing his Walter Johnson impersonation. We'll get Ken Singleton, the second DH ever to hit on my channel. And that's a 12, which is a 12 in the 2 column. And that's ground ball to third. George Bett fires it on to Balboni, and for the second inning in a row, Baltimore is retired in order. Go to the top of the third. 6-0 Kansas City. So Tippy Martinez will start things off with Motley, who doubled and scored to lead off last inning. That's a 36, and that's a 14. And that's going to be a walk. That's the first walk issued today. Kansas City has collected 9 hits in just over 2 innings. Steve Balboni, he struck out last inning. One of the few outs Denny Martinez was able to get. And that's a 16, which is a 28 in the 1 column. And that's going to be a fielder's choice, 6-4. So Ripken will toss on to Dower to get Motley. And Balboni is on with the fielder's choice. Frank White, he singled in a run, reached second on a wild pitch, and then later scored. That's a 55, which is an 8 in the C column. And that's a single to center field. With 2 outs, the runner makes it to third. So Balboni, who's not very quick, is able to get to third on this one. So that's runners on the corners for Don Slott, who has an RBI single. So we got 1 out, runners on the corners. They're going to keep the infield back. They're not a close one at this point. That's a 26, which is a 27. And that's a double play, 5-4-3. So Tippy Martinez able to get out of the jam. So 5-4, 5-4-3 on the double play. So no runs on 1 hit. There was no errors. They did leave 1 on. And for the first inning of the game, Kansas City fails to score. So back to our empty chart. So Wayne Gross playing third base today for Baltimore. We'll start off looking for the first base runner. That's a 31, which is a 14 with the 2 chart. And that's going to be a walk. So he's able to reach base for the first time for the Orioles. And Rich Dower playing second base will be up next. Runner on first. Mark Gubicza on the mound. Again, he's a D with a Y modifier. That's a 41, which is a 24 in the 2 column. And that's a 6-4-3 double play. So just like that, their 1 lone runner is erased. So that's 24, 6-4-3. So out number 1. Double play for out number 2. So that'll bring Dempsey to the plate. Rick Dempsey playing is the catcher for Baltimore. So nobody out, or 2 out rather, nobody on. That's a 25, which is a 9 on the D column, and that's a single over short. So first base hit for the Orioles. John Shelby, leadoff hitter, grounded out in his first at bat. And that's a 66, so that's going to be a second column roll, which is a 42, which is a 2 on a D, and that's going to be a triple along the right field line. It bangs around in the corner. Dempsey comes all the way from first to score, and the Orioles are on the board. 6-1, Kansas City. So Shelby's on third. We got 2 out for Mike Young, who has an assist in the outfield today. And he gets a 45, which is a 14 on the 2 column, and that's a walk. So we got runners on the corners for Cal Ripken Jr. 2 out. Ripken flew out to Wilson in center field to end the first inning. That's trouble. That's 55. That's a 7, which is a single to left. One runner scores, the other to second base. So Baltimore making a game of it as they play to run. Young will hold at second. And Cal Ripken with an RBI single, and the dangerous Eddie Murray coming up. So they got runners on first and second, 2 out, 2 runs in. So runners on first and second would be that one. All right, Eddie Murray, strikeout victim, his first at bat. Oh, how about that? Get a 5 with the D. Runners on first and second. That's a triple to the right field bullpen. And that will score Young easily from second. Cal Ripken scores easily. And Eddie Murray is on third with a triple. So it is now 6-4. So we got a runner on third and 2 out for Gary Renicky, who struck out. They're going to give Gubizal one more batter here. And he gets an unlucky roll of a 44. That's an 8. That's a single over second, and the runner scores. So it is now a 1-run game. So that will do it for Gubizal as the wheels fall off here in the third. So let's see who they got on the bench. They got Quisenberry, who's kind of their closer. And they got Danny Jackson. He had some good years, a couple good years with the Reds. Now let's give him a crack. I haven't used extra player yet. So Danny Jackson, left-handed pitcher, will take his place to see if he can stop this rally. So he's just a D with no modifier. And he'll face Ken Singleton. So they got 2 out, runner on first. And that's another 1-1. So he gets a second column roll, which is a 41. And that's a 7. Single to right, runner to third. So Wayne Gross, runners on the corners. He singled and actually walked today. He actually walked to lead off the inning. That's a 52, which is a 25 in the 2 column. And that's going to be a 6-4 fielder's choice. So they get Singleton at second to end the inning. Got a fielder's choice. So you got to pick up there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs. Did I miscounted, I think. Yeah, 5 runs. So that's actually a 1-run ball game still. 6-5. So they get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. And they get no errors. And they left 2 on. So after 3 complete, 6-5 here. Typical American League game. So I know that the concern about the D pitching is to see if they would, how well they would do. And I think it's like any other game. You have to get the rolls. I mean, so if you had a bad pitcher in Stratomatic or inside pitch or any game, You have to get lucky on the rolls in order to get a good game. And as you see, rolling a lot of doubles today. So even an A pitcher would have had some trouble with these rolls today. So, again, that's just my humble opinion. So Onyx Concepcion will start off here. Tippy Martinez, seeing if he can get some work in. That's a 32, which is a 26 in the one column. That's ground ball to second base. Rich Dower will throw on to Murray for out number 1. Willie Wilson has singled twice, scored twice, has a stolen base to his credit. And see, we get another double. So that's a second column roll. And we get 13. That's a 6. Tippy Martinez is a C. So that's a double to right center, which would have been a double no matter who was pitching. So the Royals trying to add to that 1-run lead. We'll get Pat Sheridan, who's been the offensive star today. He has singled in a run and then hit a 3-run bomb in the second inning. That's a 14, which is a 30. That's a easy fly out to Renicky in left, and he'll squeeze it for out number 2. So Tippy Martinez trying to leave Willie Wilson at second, but he has to get through George Brett first, who is flied out and singled. He was gunned down at third base trying to get an extra base. That's a 46, which is a 32 in the one column. And that's going to be a fly out to right field. So he hits it to right again, and Young catches it in the air this time. So for the second inning in a row, Tippy Martinez has been able to hold the Royals scoreless. We go to the bottom of the fourth, 6-5, Kansas City. So we've got Rich Dower leading off here. We got 8, 9, and 1 for Baltimore. Dower has hit into a double play so far today. That's a 14, which is a 30. And that'll be a fly ball out to left. Just make sure there's not a modifier we need. And actually, Danny Jackson has no modifiers. So out number 1. Rick Dempsey. He singled and scored last inning. He gets a 21, which is a 30, and he'll proceed to hit a fly ball out toward Motley, who will get his second assist of the inning for out number 2. John Shelby has had a triple, RBI, run scored, and 2 at-bats. It's a 35, which is a 13 in the 2 column, and with 2 outs, that'll be a fly ball to center field. So Willie Wilson gets in on the action, and they go down in order. So we go to the top of the fourth, still 1-run lead for Kansas City. Hal McRae, who will always be remembered as the first DH on the Replay Gamers channel, has hit into a double play and singled. It's a 23, and that's a 27 in the 1 column. And that's actually an X, which Tippy Martinez has, so that's a strikeout. Darryl Motley has doubled, scored, and walked. He gets a 43, which is a 29. That's another X, another strikeout for Tippy Martinez. Steve Balboni has struck out and hit into a fielder's choice. That's a 64, which is a 13, and you can see he's got some 13s there as he proceeds to be the 3rd strikeout victim of the inning. So Tippy Martinez has retired 5 in a row. We go to the bottom of the 5th, still Kansas City 6, Baltimore 5. We got 2, 3, and 4 due up this inning. Mike Young, who's a switch hitter, will be batting right-handed against the left-handed Danny Jackson. And that's a 22. That's a 7. And that's going to be a single to right. And again, a single, I'm pretty sure, is a single no matter who's pitching. So he finds himself at first base with his first base hit of the game. Cal Ripken Jr., who has singled in a run. We'll focus on Danny Jackson now. That's a 32, which is a 26 in the 2 column. And that's going to be a fielder's choice, 4 to 6. So White will toss to Concepcion, but that's all they're able to get as Mike Young comes in hard. Takes Concepcion out. Concepcion not able to get the throw on to Balboni. Nice hustle by Mike Young. Eddie Murray, big 2-run triple and a strikeout. Let's see what he can do here with the left-handed Jackson. Eddie Murray, also a switch hitter, will be batting right-handed here. Is a 26, and that's a 13. And he proceeds to get whiffed. So Danny Jackson fools him with a changeup that time for out number 2. Gary Renicky struck out in an RBI single back in the 3rd. The big inning for the Orioles. That's a 14. So that'll be a fly out to left field. And Motley will track it down to end the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors. 1 runner left on after 5 complete here in Baltimore. It is 6-5. Kansas City. So Frank White will start off the top half of the 6th. He has singled twice, got an RBI, scored once. Lead off here, top of the 6th. And we get a double once again. That's a 4. And he's a C, so that's going to be a double over 3rd. So Gross not able to stab it as it goes over his head down into the corner. Renicky will play it. Throw into the sliding second base. Frank at second base. Frank White apply the tag, but he is in safely with the double. So Don Slott singled and hit into a double play. That's a 23, which is a 27 in the 1 column. The runner out at first, and the runner has to hold, so it's hit to third base. Gross will look White back, and he'll fire on to Murray, for out number 1. So Slott not able to advance the runner. Onyx Concepcion, who's 0 for 2, step in next. That's a 42, which is a 39, which could be exciting. And with the column number 1, the runner is out stealing third. So how about that? Frank White thought he could get it, but Rick Dempsey guns him down. So caught stealing 2-5 for out number 2. So very cool. So Concepcion is now hitting with 2 out, nobody on. So the Kansas City fans questioning that move. Frank White trying to get on third with less than 2 out, but he was not able to make it. That's a 62, which is a 27 in the 1 column. And again, Martinez is an X, so that's a strikeout. So a leadoff double wasted by Frank White. No runs, no hits, nobody left on. We go to the home half of the 6th. Kansas City with a 1-run lead. So Danny Jackson getting some long relief here. We'll see if he can get Ken Singleton, who is singled and grounded out. 56 is a 34 in the 2 column. And that's a ground ball to first. Make sure that's right. 56 is a 34, and that's actually a Y. He's not a Y. That's actually a pop out to short. I was looking at 35. So that's 1 away as Concepcion will catch it for out number 1. Wayne Gross is walked in, hit into a fielder's choice. That's a 13, which is a 14, and that'll be a walk. As Jackson does not have the Z modifier or the ZZ. Matter of fact, I don't remember seeing a ZZ yet. So Rich Dower, Pigpen. A lot of these nicknames, they must have been called them by their mother, because I don't remember. I was a pretty big fan of baseball at that time, and I don't remember a lot of these nicknames. So I wonder if they called these guys parents to try to get a nickname. That's a 14. That's a 30. Column 2. Let's fly out to left field. Wayne Gross will scamper back to first. Two-way. Rick Dempsey, ninth hitter for the Orioles. He's singled and flied out. That's a 31, which is a 14. And we got column 2, no modifier, so that's going to be the second walk given up by Danny Jackson. Living dangerously. You don't want to walk the ninth hitter, American League or National League. So we got runners on first and second. For John Shelby, who has tripled in 3 at-bats. And that's a 12, which is a 12 in the 2 column. Then that's going to be a fielder's choice, 6-4. So Concepcion will underhand to White to retire Dempsey at second. For out number 3, fielder's choice for Shelby. So no runs, no hits, no errors. They do leave 2 on with the 2 walks. We go to the top of the 7th, still 6-5 Kansas City. So Tippy Martinez getting some long relief here as well. This was back when men were men and pitchers pitched longer than 2 batters. So he'll lead off with, I have the wrong team. He'll lead off with Willie Wilson. Willie is 3 for 3, 2 runs scored, a double, stolen base, so he's having an excellent day. That's a 23, which is a 27 in the 1 column. That's an X modifier, which Tippy Martinez is getting a lot of use out of that as he proceeds to strike out Wilson to lead off the 7th. Pat Sheridan, again, had that big 3-run home run back in the 2nd. And he gets a 44, which is an 8. And C, that's going to be a single to left center. So Sheridan is thinking he's Babe Ruth tonight. So that brings up George Brett, who is singled in 3 at trips. That's a 56, which is a 34 in the 1 column. And that's going to be a high pop-up on the infield. So Brett just got under that one a little bit, as Ripken will call it, for out number 2. You got to love this game. George Brett pops it up to Cal Ripken. I love this hobby. All right, so Hal McRae, who will forever be remembered as the first DH on my channel. It's up with 2 outs. Pat Sheridan still at first. That's a 52, which is a 25 in the 1 column. And that's going to be 4-6. So Dower will toss it on to Ripken. And that will do it for the Royals in the 7th. So they leave another runner on. Just 4 left on for Kansas City. They've scored most of their runners. 7th inning stretch time here at beautiful Memorial Stadium. Kansas City 6, Baltimore 5. 2, 3, and 4 due up for Baltimore, so they're still just down by 1 run. Danny Jackson is pitching some good relief. So we'll see what if he's able to carry on. Mike Young has walked and singled. It's a 23, which is a 27 in the 2 column. And that's an X modifier, so it's a ground ball to third. George Brett will have no difficulty in getting the first out of the inning. Kyle Ripken is 1 for 3 with an RBI single. That's a 54, which is a 32. And that's a fly ball to right field. Hit pretty hard, but Sheridan is right there. And he'll get it for the second out of the inning. So Eddie Murray will step up with 2 out, nobody on. He hit a 2-run triple down into the bullpen. That's a 41, which is a 28 in the 2 column. And that's a ground ball to hit to shortstop. Concepcion plays it on 2 hops and throws him out to end the inning. 7 complete in the books. We got a good one going here. We got a pitcher's duel if you take away the first 3 innings. So Darryl Motley will step up. Tippy Martinez. We'll see how he does. They got the bullpen up because he has pitched a few innings. Motley has doubled, scored, and walked. My screen got crooked somehow. All right. That's a 53, which is a 17 in the 1 column. And that's going to be a fly ball out to right field. So the defense really helped the Orioles there. That would have been a single with any other, if the fielding 2 or 3. So again, just double check that. 17, fly out to right field. So nice play by Young there for out number 1. Steve Balboni is struck out twice and hit into a fielder's choice. That's a 56, which is a 34. And that's going to be popped up. Kyle Ripken and Gross will both look at it, and Ripken will call it for out number 2. Frank White has had a big day. He is 3 for 3. He did get caught stealing back in the 6th, which might end up being a bad decision at the end of this game. So that's a 12 in the 1 column, and that's hit down to third base. And Gross will catch it, throw it for out number 3. So we go to the home half of the 8th. Still 6-5 Kansas City. So we're in the 8th inning here. So I think that will be it for Jackson, who did a magnificent job. And they're going to go to Dan Quisenberry for these last 2 innings. So time to stop messing around. So Quisenberry, the side armor. We'll see if he can hang on to this 1-run lead. He's a righty, and he is an A with a Z. And he will start off with Gary Renicky. I keep wanting to call him Ron Renicky. Renicky is 1 for 3 with an RBI single. And he gets a 12, which is a 12 in the 2 column. Ground ball down to third. George Brett throws him out for out number 1. Ken Singleton, 1 for 3 today. That's a 46, which is a 24 in the 2 column. And that is going to be hit down to shortstop. Concepcion will throw him out for out number 2. Wayne Gross has walked twice and hit into a fielder's choice. 46 is a 13, and there's 2 outs, so that will be a fly out to center field. Willie Wilson will chase it down toward right center field, and that will do it. So Dan Quisenberry holds on to the lead. We go to the top of the 9th. Kansas City 6, Baltimore 5. So Tippy Martinez has done a magnificent job overall. So let's see who the Orioles can bring in to see about business. They'll bring in Sammy Stewart. See if he can hold the fort down with just that 1-run lead. So Stewart is a B with a Y. Again, really loving this set. The nostalgia of it, a big part of why I enjoy this hobby is nostalgia. So even though I wasn't an APBA guy, the fact that this came from '84, it's got the old style. I mean, the cards, even though they don't have the stats, are very appealing. There's an aesthetic to them that is just really fun to play with. And so enjoying the set very much. I mean, it even made me pull out the American League, so that's saying something. All right, so Don Slott will start off here. He singled in a run, hitting a double play and grounded out. So Sammy Stewart Seeing what he can do. That's a 42, 13, and he proceeds to strike out the first batter he faces. So Onyx Concepcion, who is 0 for 3, gets a 65. That's a 35 in the one column. Ground ball to first. Murray will take it himself. Out number 2. 2 out for Willie Wilson, who is 3 for 4. Good day at the plate. Oh, he gets a 66. That's going to be a second column roll. 51. That's a 5. And Stewart is a B. So that's a double over first base. So over Murray's head, down into the right field corner. Young chases it down and throws it in, but not before Willie Wilson, who is very fast, is on second base with a double. Excuse me. So runner on second, Pat Sheridan. Again, the offensive star for Kansas City today. And they're obviously not going to walk him to get to George Brett. So that's a 41, which is a 28 in the one column. And that's a ground ball to short to end the inning. So here we go. Showdown time. Dan Quisenberry on the mound for Kansas City. Kansas City up by 1, 6-5. We've got the bottom half of the lineup due up for the Orioles. Let's see what can happen here. So Rich Dower is 0 for 3. He gets a 65, which is a 35, and that's going to be a ground ball to first base. Balboni waves off Quisenberry for out number 1. So they're down to the last 2 outs. Rick Dempsey is singled and walked. That's a 16, which is a 28 in the 2 column. It's going to be a ground ball to short. Quisenberry very good at getting the ground balls. Is 1 out away from getting the save, the 2-inning save, you will notice. So John Shelby is the last chance for the Orioles. The remaining fans are on their feet, hoping for a miracle here in the bottom of the 9th. That's a 64, and that's a 13, and that's going to be a fly ball out to center field. Wilson will catch it, and that will do it. So good game. So ended up being a pitcher's duel after we got through the third inning. So Kansas City wins the game by a score of 6-5. I'd say the star of the game would have to be Pat Sheridan, who had that 3-run home run and an RBI single, and then an additional single in the 7th, which didn't result in any runs, but still 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs, a run scored, a big bomb. So that will do it here from Baltimore Memorial Stadium. Enjoyed that very much. My first American League game with a DH wasn't horrible. Again, I really prefer games without the DH, so you've seen it here first. My first DH included game. So anyway, I appreciate it very much. All the kind words, all the comments. Enjoy those very much. Keep them coming, and sharing your stories and your games and memories. Again, that's a big part why I like this hobby, is for things like that. So I appreciate it very much, and I will see you next time.